Okay, hey guys, how you doing? All right, so Alex, just kind of recap, and for everybody else out there, to recap what Alex and I just did is one of his leads. We got on the phone with the guy. Lots of surprises on this call, and this is fine. These calls are always full of surprises. We didn't know the guy was a licensed agent. I didn't expect him to be this qualified. The one question I forgot to ask him, and we can look this up, is whether it was a tax sale or a sheriff sale. But when he said he went through a title company, I'm pretty sure he's had the title run, so we're fairly sure the title's clear. So the first thing is a lot of people advertise close in 7 days, close in 14 days. We specifically don't. Um, the reason we don't is for the reasons that I explained to this gentleman, is and I'm looking up something else unrelated while I'm doing this because I don't want to forget it. But I'm showing you in Lackawanna County where you can look up um, tax sale, who went to tax sale, who went to sheriff sale information. Um, but on his call, we revealed a few things, which we knew he bought it for 45 and he wants to sell it for 90. He's relying on comps I haven't seen. I'm not saying his comps are wrong. He's a licensed professional, it sounds like, so he might be. But I told him, I said, send me those comps. Send me what you're seeing. He was asking for non-refundable deposits. And okay, if he wanted $200 non-refundable, am I going to cry over that? No. I'll probably, in this deal, I wouldn't, but in a lot of deals, I would. I have another deal. I'm willing to put $200 at risk, $500 at risk because I feel good about the deal. But pretty much non-refundable deposits don't happen and aren't fair to ask. I don't even ask them of my buyers because we haven't even seen the property. We've seen pictures and an address. How can I give you non-refundable money based on what you're telling me? We don't know where those pictures came from, bluntly. And title. So nothing should ever be non-refundable, including title. Should never happen. Because of title, I had a property 5 years ago or so. We had it sold for $160,000. It was a very beautiful 3-bedroom single in Little Scranton. It was a good market price. It was fair. Everybody was happy at it. Turns out, because of a long story of the owner making one mistake, I don't even want to say stupid mistake because I'm not sure I would have thought of it, but it had a $1.7 million federal RICO terrorism judgment against it. Not that RICO terrorism means anything in judgments, but it was a judgment that was triggered off a RICO terrorism charge. So obviously, we're not selling that house. It's $1.7 million against a $160,000 sale. No. Could he apply to the Department of Justice and get it removed? Could. Yes, but the buyer shouldn't lose their deposit because a title issue. That's not the buyer's fault. Let's see. So, and I'm just looking here at 2025 tax sale upset tax sale lists. Oh, Newton. Oh wait, that's the. All right, I'll have to call on that one. Anyway, so that property we would never do we would never do a non-refundable deposit. I won't say never. Like if the guy offered it to me for $5,000, I'll do a non-refundable deposit because like the dirt in Philadelphia is worth more than $5,000. But back to the other thing is, please don't promise people 1 to 2 week closings or any which is this is training. This is not. I'm upset. This is training. If you're not licensed, refer to us as the company, not my partner. just because I don't want to give people the false assumption that they're talking to someone who's making a decision. You know, you can say my associate, you can say my broker, you can say, you know, my company, but just don't give the guy any idea that he's dealing with a promise. But, and again, this is not negative. But the reasons we don't promise 1 to 2 week closings is, first of all, we got time. We got to get time to get our buyers in there. Wholesalers promise everything and deliver fuck all. I'll be honest with you. That's exactly why the state had to come up with the law they came up with. And as a quick reminder to everybody, the law says for units 1, unit 2, single unit, double unit, triple, quad, 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 unit, you've got to be a licensed agent working under a licensed broker. So Alex, where you're playing is in the bird dog range until you get your license. A little bit of a gray area, but whatever. So this was actually a very good call, by the way. So there's lots of opportunities came out of this call. Are we going to make a deal on this house? I don't know. But are we going to make a deal to buy this house? I don't know. Have we made a relationship with a professional investor who you will get paid no matter what he does for us in the future? Yes. He should go on the buyer form and the seller form with the property information. Buyer form with just general here he is as a buyer, here's what we know about him, whatever. And the seller form, and with your name. So it credits to you, it pays to you. So that would be for buyer. New buyer intake form. I'm just going to open these up so you see them. So when you go to them, you know what you're talking about. Okay, why is it not doing that? Okay, that's fun. And we'll put it over here, I guess. Here's the wholesale seller team form. This is not the web form. This is the team form. And you have a place to put your team member, first name, last name, whatever. Buyer. Same routine. Yeah. Buyer form. New buyer introduction form. So he should go on both of these because he's an investor. He might buy. He clearly is an active, transaction person. My feeling of what he should do, he should keep it. He should borrow money, hire a crew, fix it, be done. Maximize what he believes the end value is. And the reasons his deal don't fit, and I know, Alex, you and I have talked about this since I started this here, I'll finish it, is the comps we were seeing finished for a single family. He claims it can be a multi. I hadn't even investigated that. Could be, could not be, don't know. 150 to 250. Finished sale as a single family home. Personally, I think even if it is a multi, I don't see it going above 300. Because typical multis are even 3 units. Typically, multis sell for 2/3 of a single times however many units. So 150, 2/3 of that is 100 times 3 is 300. But if we're going to sell for, let's say, $180,000 as a single, flipper needs $60,000 to pay their lender, their profit, and their selling costs, their realtor and whatever. So it is 120. His house is a shell. No heating, no electrical, probably no roof. It's $100,000. So at 180, which I think is high for selling in his neighborhood, minus, so 2/3 of that is 120, minus 100 is 20. So at best, he might have 20 grand there. And yes, there are other houses at 250. But in Philadelphia, it's very hard to tell why is that block 250 and his block is 150, or is his block the 250 block? It's very hard to tell. And in any transaction, once we close on it and we own it, I'm literally doing this right now. I'm trying to get out of a house that I bought correctly, but had more damage than we could see. I'm going to walk out losing $1,500. So I can't go back to the seller and say, you owe me $1,500. So we always have to buy right. So anyway, so that's that. Now, Alex, do you have any questions about any of it, what went on or whatever? I hear you. I see your lips moving, but I don't hear you.
I have some questions.
All right, go ahead.
So basically, we can't do nothing with the property.
Well, the only option he has at his $90,000 price. So when I text him back, I'm going to lay out what we talked about. And I'm going to say, listen, at your $90,000 price, we'll give you 90. We have 4 weeks to do our physical due diligence, and then we go to title. If he wants to start title now, he is welcome to. I'm not spending $250. If he wants to sell it for less, the escalation clause model, let's say we did 40,000, which I think is probably still too high, but I don't want to insult him too much. We'll buy it for 50 because he bought it for 45. He's probably got 5,000 into it, so we'll get him out with his shirt on. The contract would read like this: 50,000. If it sells for more than 60, he gets half of anything above 60. So we get the first 10, we split anything above. So if an investor comes in at 90, he'll get 50 plus half of that last 30. He'll get 65. Those are the only two things that I think we're safe offering him on this deal. Unless he wants to borrow money from us or list it with us. And you're getting paid no matter if anything comes of this. You're in the loop. You're getting paid. You'll see what happens. It's in the CRM. You'll see it. So none of this takes it away from you. It just comes down to, we actually went from a situation where I thought, no way in hell that this is going to be a high. We can't meet your price. There's no game here. We're done. We actually have a window to something. On this property, we have a window to something. And in general, with him, we have a window to something. And this is the reason that getting me or Ryan on the phone, and even Ryan would say that I'm the more of the qualifications, I guess. Because Ryan did it this morning with a seller. He brought me into a call because she was not quite sure she trusted us. And after 10 minutes of me doing my thing, like, oh, wow, you guys are, I mean, Ryan's legit, but Ryan hasn't owned, 50 properties or whatever. So, so we also floated out to him the idea of, so I think by having this conversation, first of all, you sort of heard, how we gather information from him. Like always, anything in this game is a game of consent from them. So, sir, I'm seeing comps 150, 160, maybe 200. He's like, oh, well, it could be 240 in the right neighborhood. He kept saying in the right neighborhood. He didn't say in this neighborhood. Okay, 240. Still, even at 240, we got to understand. Even at 240, if I do 2/3, like every flipper in the world is going to do, yada 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 yada. And literally, the reason I was late on your call was because I had that call from a closing company, and then immediately Ryan had this other seller he was on the line with who wasn't getting it either. Which is exactly why he and I, are more me than him, are here. So anyway, so basically we kind of opened his eyes by getting his agreement. He agreed the comps are questionable. And he's saying multis are 300 to 500,000. And I very politely said, great, send me those. Let me see them. Because I don't see them on my software. Any other questions?
So you want me to get his first and last name and his email because he has sent it to me?
Yeah. Okay. So send that over. Do a 3-way text, you, me, and him, and just copy that into the 3-way text. First name, last name, email, and property address. And then I'll take it from there. That way, the reason I like the three-way text is, first of all, it lets you see what's going on and lets you be involved because he's still your client. You're still
Yes.
monitoring him and whatever. I'm kind of playing, back office kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely work on that.
All right. Any other questions before I kind of go through other ways you can find deals and so forth?
No, I don't got no more questions.
All right. Now, was it finding deals we were going to talk about, or was it something else? This morning
Yes. I think finding deals, you was going to teach me how to close, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So closing is separate. So I'm gonna show you two things. The first thing I want to show you is, and this is if you want, we want someone to dial for self storage. You do not have to be that person. I'm not saying you have to be that person, but we have lists in the sheets that I sent you for self storage. And this was actually, I think, our video on Friday or whatever. And there's a lot of tabs for different markets. And I haven't labeled the tabs as what the markets are. Please do, like Robbins, Georgia, or whatever. But each row is a property. And this is my partner in the self-storage and I. So Hunting for Homes is Ryan and Mai's company, just so we are transparent on how the numbers work. Mark and I are self-storage buyers. This is a separate company that I'm also involved in. My storage company pays Hunting for Homes between $3,000 and $5,000 for any deal we close, and then you get your percentage off of that. If it's 3 or 5, then you get your percentage off of that, and you get the top percentage on this. By the way, there is no 15, 25. You get your whole 45 or 50, whatever your contract says. So if we make $3,000, you're making $3,000. The expenses on it are $300 or $500, so $2,500. So you're making about $1,000, $1,200, whatever your percentage is. So basically, and all you're doing is the first phase of this. So it's not a large number, but your only requirement is to get me on the phone, or Mark, but really me, with the seller of a property. So you're looking at these, and okay, of course I came up with one that doesn't have any phone number crap in it. So does it have anybody's phone number in it? Oh, of course not. That'd be too easy. All right, so this is a bad one because it didn't have any data, but this one. So the first thing you're doing, and I'll show you the video on this, first thing you're doing is you're Googling the property. This is always good, is just for any property, is to do a quick Google. Do a quick Google and say, hey, let me take a look both on an aerial and on a ground level and see the property. So fairly obvious what a self-storage looks like. These. Okay, so self-storage can look like anything because they can be climate controlled or whatever. But you see this shape of building, it's only one thing. It's self-storage. They're long, narrow buildings packed together with evenly spaces between them for U-Haul trucks. So then you look around it. What's around the place? And this is just so you know the neighborhood. Hey, I got some housing over here. I got more housing over here. I got some shopping centers. I got some more housing over here. All right, so you kind of know. And none of this matters because you're not negotiating. But just so when you're on the phone with the person, you can kind of, hey, I was looking around your neighborhood. Kind of looks like a nice neighborhood or whatever. Or if it's not, hey, And anyway, so you're kind of taking a quick glance and you're saying, oh, well, this is the storage facility. Cool. Like this is literally even more time than you would need to spend. You just want to say you feel like you've seen it. That's all you're doing. And then you're calling the facility up and you're doing two things on the call. And these are very brief calls. Oh yeah, let me go back to the Google Maps real quick. So one thing I noticed on the aerial for it is I don't see a Google pop-up. Like it has an icon, but doesn't have the name, like Harvest ShopRite. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the sheet and I'm going to look for the property name, because what I want to do is, so it's Midgard Self-Storage in Harvest, Georgia. So I'm going to search that. The reason I want to do that is I want to see what their web presences are like. And again, this is like 1 minute for your time. They have rent a unit online. They have pay online. So they're a highly quality run facility. A little weird because this looks a little fancier than those buildings look from the air, but whatever. Capshaw Road, is that right? Okay, so it's not Old Railroad Road, but basically, and this is all you're doing. You're not asking questions. You're just saying, "Hey, I went here. This is the URL I went to," and you're recording this stuff in the sheet. You're just going to the end of the sheet and you're plugging it in. And then you're going and you're just making notes. All you're doing is giving us 30 seconds worth of notes. Do not spend a lot of time on this. Your next thing is to call the facility. And you're asking two questions. First thing you're saying is something like, hey, I'm a flipper. I bought some property out there. I know I have to clean up the property. I know I'm going to need some storage units. What do you guys have available and what are your rates? Okay. Is that climate control, non-climate control? A couple questions in, and by the way, do you have parking for trailers and trucks and stuff? Great. So those are really your three questions. And ask, and that's pretty much it. And they say, by the way, since I have you on the phone, my partner, my partner, my associate, my company, we're also buyers of self-storage facilities. Kind of curious what you've known, and your questions are like, how busy is it? How many empties do you run? How competitive is the market? That's it. And by the way, do you think I could talk to the owner of your company to see if maybe he has any ideas for us, or maybe he might want to sell? Okay, great. If you can, set up a time for me, and we'll do the call. And like this one, you're welcome to be on the call. You're almost done with your self-storage process to make the money. The only other thing you do is you go down, if either they give you the owner's number or ding, owner's number. So you're then calling the owner up and you're going through basically the same kinds of questions. You're not asking owner rates and whatever. Saying, hey, I represent Hunting for Homes. We're wholesalers and buyers of self-storage, or we're buyers of storage. Happen to talk to your facility guy and just, would you be open to talking with my boss, with my associate, whatever you want to call it, about the market and possibly about if you guys might want to sell. Oh, I don't want to sell. Okay, well, great. Could we still get 10 minutes of your time to talk about the market and kind of understand what self-storage is like down there? Because, we're looking around. We're actually doing a couple flips in the area, and that's it. Your whole conversation here is to see if they're willing to get on the phone with me. That's it. And you then will add your notes on here. That's it. You'll add your notes on here, and you'll say, hey, and you'll send me a thing and say, hey, Steve, on this, I did this property. It's on this sheet. Which what I'd love you to do, if these aren't named, is just name them. That's it. Name them for the community, for the city, or whatever. Hey, Steve, you know what? The tab, Harvest, Georgia, line 3, and just paste that line into an email to me or a text message, whatever. That's it. Would be also excellent if you would throw it into the seller's form, but that's not even important because it's a totally different form. If you just did that, if you just marked it here, so you want to do two things here. You want to add notes to this one and your name. So I'm actually going to do that right here. I'm going to add a column for notes and called by all right. So that's that. So that's all you're doing on self-storage, if you even want to. If you don't, just tell me. I'll pass it off to somebody else. That's all you're doing there. On other types of deals, and this is where everyone chooses You'll eventually choose what you like, but here's how you use batch leads. So you can do bandit signs. You can make up little, 2 foot by 1 foot, put them on telephone poles, shit like that. And they're very simple. We buy houses. Phone your Google Voice number or whatever your business number is. Remember, you want to have a business number separate from your cell phone. You want to have a business Facebook separate from your whatever. And that's it. A bandit sign, a flyer. We buy houses. Phone number. Avoid foreclosure. Phone number. Simple and cheap. Cheap being important because the bandit signs either get ripped down or destroyed. Because you're putting them on places they don't belong. You can do postcards, you can do whatever. Also, you can do batch leads. You have the password to batch leads if you need it. I can resend it out. We're actually building an online community this week. It should be done in about 2 weeks. But batch leads can give you lists of properties. You can search an entire area. And there are videos online, so I won't go through the whole process in batch leads of how to do it. But batch leads will give you'll pick, okay, I want Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania. I want, absent. And here's what you're looking for. You're looking for typically, and you can find your own way on this as well, but I like absentee owner. Out of state owner is better, but absentee owner is fine. Vacant is one of my pressure points, and I'll use these interchangeably. Absentee owner is almost always there because it means the owner doesn't live in the property. Vacant is wonderful. It's a little bit unreliable information. Pre-foreclosure is wonderful. Tax sale, if they give it, is wonderful. I like low equity. Some people like high equity, so I usually don't even ask an equity question. And there's a few others you can play with, but really absentee owner, and it will come up with a list and it will give you phone numbers. So, and then I will put up here and I'll show you where to find it. And you'll find videos from YouTube people. Her videos are the ones I like best, the ones from Batch TV. And so this list right here would be a great list. And I'll put this in the chat and I'll also email this over to you. This would be a great list for you to, a great video for you to watch because it will allow, because it'll tell you how to use batch leads properly to find motivated sellers. It would also be great if I could speak. But batch leads is a tool that we pay for finding motivated residential and small multifamily sellers. The other thing you want to be doing is you want to be visible in the community pages with your Facebook. So, like, for example, oh wow, okay, so never mind. I was going to show Facebook and I saw this thing about LERTA they're really, these data centers, they're getting advantages they don't deserve. They're being treated special. But this is my personal account and this is my primary business account. So you want to be doing all your real estate stuff under your business account. First reason is, and by the way, these are also okay, so I'll go back to real estate bees in a second, so I'll leave that tab open for a moment. You want to be posting everything on your business page, on your business account. Why? Because number one, you don't want your family crap cluttering it up. Number two, you want your business profile to be what people see. And you want to be posting, you want to be members of investors groups like PA Investors, Real Estate Mastermind, Real Estate Mastermind Philadelphia, fine. Real Estate Community Network, PA, it's one of my groups. Pennsylvania Off-Market Investment Real Estate. PA Investment Property Owners, this one here. Any group like that, but you also want to be a member of, Piston Community page, Piston Area Community page, these places, because in the investment groups, you're finding investors, you're finding buyers, you're finding guys like the ones we just talked to. The other category, the Piston pages, the Scranton pages, Philadelphia pages, you're posting the local real estate expert in that community. So you're, how do I put this? You're posting messages about the real estate market to make yourself visible. You're being friendly. You're not being a jerk. You're not being a salesperson. You're just saying, I know real estate and here's some information you guys might enjoy. You're talking with people, you're building relationships, and you're also saying, hey, we buy houses, we buy property. Very helpful, very polite. Don't overpower the group. Be a regular member of the group as well for whatever that might mean in this specific group. And the two reasons you're doing that is, one, the people on the group might have a house. Two, the people in the group might know someone who has a house. One of my favorite tricks for beginners is going to your friends and saying, hey, have you ever made $500 in 5 minutes legally? Many of us have made it otherwise, but no, how the hell do you make $500 in 5 minutes? You give me the name and phone number of somebody who wants to sell real estate, and I will pay them.
Yeah.
You your fee, and I'll pay them $500. What? All right, and then the last category, this ad here, Real Estate Bees, Motivated Seller, whatever. We're a member of a lot of, and there are more of them out there, and you can do them if you want. You can not do direct email, yes. Direct text messaging, yes. Be careful, there are laws, whatever. But the last category is things like Real Estate Bees. You will be getting emails from us periodically, and every time a lead comes in from Real Estate Bees or one of the other companies we work with, everybody in our group gets those leads. We forward them. We're starting now to forward them immediately out to everybody. So if you get a Google, will you let us forward you something? Say yes. Comes from Steve Franco, comes from Good People, Good Homes, comes from GPGH Realty, comes from GPGH Equity, comes from Hunting for Homes. But check with us if you're not sure it's us. But yes, accept those. And then you're going to we can give you if you need it, we'll give you the password to the software so you can go in and find out more about it. And these are leads of people you could actually call. You can literally call them up. I don't know, newer legacy dashboard, I don't really care. And of course, I don't remember my password. Anyway, in here, so you'll get the email saying, John Smith, this address wants to sell, and a phone number. You want to know more on John Smith's file, you use the login that I'll send you right now so you'll have it, and you can log in and find out more. But these are people who've responded to advertising Real Estate Bees is doing on our behalf. And they are leads of people who have filled out a form or answered a video or done some sort of interaction and said, yes, I want to sell. So these are all the ways, or some of the ways, that we start front-ending you with opportunities and with leads to generate deals. Um, so, any questions on that? Anything else I can help you with, or kind of get you rolling on, or anything? So, what we're also going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is we're going to be getting these 3 weekly meetups at 11:30 every day, and anything else you need to schedule. We really want to get intensively working, getting you intensively off the ground, and kind of having a little check-in at least once a week, personally, one-on-one, to be like, hey, what have you done this week to generate leads? What have you done this week to do whatever? So, tell me when you can fit that in the schedule, and whether it's every day, every other day, once a week, whatever. I just want to make sure we're supporting you and guiding you through it. Now, just a couple other things is, do consider getting your PA license, because that will you'll actually make more money with us. But second of all, you can market under your own brand. I'm fine with that. But once it switches over, it switches to our brand. And just be careful between the line of, there's a difference between we can close in 7 days and we have closed deals in as little as 7 days. The first is a promise. The second is a potential. And the real things that set us apart, and the last thing I want to leave you with is, first of all, I got the cash to buy these deals. Like, this isn't like we think we need. I mean, I don't buy them. Most 99.999% of the time, I don't buy them, but I can't. As a broker, investor in business since 1997, this, that, the other thing, we have all the credibility in the world. Our process is, and that's all set up, and we're also licensed. And you can always tell people, hey, you know what? You're going to be getting calls from lots of wholesalers, but if they're not licensed, they're not legal to work in the community. They can't work in Pennsylvania. And they specifically, technically, even I can't do a transaction in Philadelphia. It would take me 5 minutes to get to write paper if I had to. It's a very simple process. But technically, I right now do not have the Philadelphia 2026 permit. It's weird. I'm authorized in the state, but not in the city. But the point is, 5 minutes I could get that. And I'm doing it as a broker, so I don't even need that, because I'm not wholesaling. I'm brokering. But really, you're talking to them from a level of experience that's in many ways borrowed from us, which is exactly what it should be. Credibility and honesty, and being like, listen, and like the lady we were just on the phone with, the reason I was late to you was that she talked to us in 2025 about wanting 150 for a property that was retail at 260. A little high, although her home is beautiful. But at 150, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Talked to her today. She wants 260, and she's trying to tell me that. I said, ma'am, I'm going to cut you off right here. We can't help you with that number. Telling them quickly what you can and can't do, which is my job, not yours. Your role, and you will grow into other roles, but your role is to do exactly what you did today. Get me on the phone with sellers. That's it. That's the universe. I will teach you everything else you need. And that is a volume game. You might talk to a dozen people before one person wants to make a call, have a conversation. You might talk to 30 people before one of them is really willing to sign a contract. I believe this guy will sign a contract. I believe for whatever reason he's in a situation, he will do something. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I got. Alex, I will send you this link here of this video, but I got to get going to my next thing. Feel free to call anybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.